I'm gonna just say this. I teach 7th grade, they are still performing on the 4th grade level. Ain't nobody talking about how they just keep moving, passing them on. They just keep passing them on, 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 passing them on. I can put as many zeros in this grade book as I want to. They're gonna move that child to the 8th grade next year.
The kids are different. The kids are 100% different.
Let's talk about this because I had an experience at my kids' back to school night, and I'll tell you why the kids are different. So this poor sub is up at the front of the classroom trying to get through her presentation of the information for these parents, and the other parents in the classroom are letting their kids just literally, one of them was like doing cartwheels in the splits. It is back to school night. If you are not here to learn how to be a helper to the teacher teaching your child, then go home, eat the free dinner, and get out, because clearly you don't care, but we do. And all of the people who do care are not getting the information that we need because you're rude. Your children are rude, and they're going to grow up to continue to be rude because you don't correct them.
Y'all, according to teachers on TikTok, students are behind more than they ever have been. Hello, welcome to a new video from me where I'm gonna be doing a commentary video from my last video. Thank you so much for all the support and love I got on it. I never thought in a million years that that video would perform as well as it did, considering I had 30 subscribers when I posted that. So I just want to say before I start this video, thank you so much for all the comments that happened on that video. Whether you agreed or disagreed with me, I really appreciate every comment that I got. Granted, I could not read them all because it just got to be too much, but thank you so much for all of the love and support on that video. It's so crazy to see. And also thank you for 2,000 subscribers. That's also crazy to see because I had 30 when I uploaded that video. So to see that people are actually subscribing and want to see more of this style of videos, I hear you, I see you, and I'm doing it right now. So yeah, let me get started. To begin, there's been a lot of educators going on social media discussing how bad kids have gotten, and not just to say like behavioral wise, but also how they are academically. And to me, I feel like this is such an important thing to talk about because y'all, people being 12 to like 16 and majority not performing at grade level, what's going on? Like, y'all, I feel like we need to take this more serious, and I find it kind of crazy that there's not many news articles discussing what educators are saying on social media. It's mainly just these viral videos. Hello, New York Times, write a paper about this so we can get working and get parents to hop on this. Like, basically, in all of the viral videos that I've seen and the ones I'm likely going to show in the beginning of this video, they've all discussed how kids are not performing at their grade level and majority are not where they're supposed to be. And of course, even when I was a young kid in school, there were obviously kids who weren't performing at grade level, but the fact that these educators are saying majority of these kids are not at grade level, that's when it's a point of concern. And also another thing that I've been seeing, which isn't as big, is kids are getting more rude. Like there's more behavioral issues happening in the classroom, and based off of like sometimes the viral videos you see of students talking back to teachers, there is more of those. I don't know if it's just because people are making them go viral and that's why we think it's happening more in the classroom. Basically, I want to go through the main points that I've been seeing and discuss them just so we can get a better idea on what's happening. First, I'm going to go through academically what's going on. Obviously, the first thing that really impacted it is COVID and how we transitioned to remote learning in quarantine, which ended up happening for like I feel like a year, maybe a year and a half, depending on the school you went to or the state you live in. With remote learning, especially for children who are 5 to 8 years old, where they need to learn basic classroom skills like raising your hand and learning how to turn in assignments and do simple things like using scissors and coloring and stuff like that. They're learning how to be a student from 5 to 8 years old, I feel like. And the fact that they missed out on those years, depending how long their remote learning was, I can guarantee you that is a big factor on the disciplinary side, but also the fact that kids are now behind. So if a child was in remote learning when they were 10 and then went off into middle school, like they're only going to remember what they learned when they were 9 before they had to go onto remote learning. So it makes sense that remote learning is a big factor in this. And it's crazy that the education system and the curriculum that they provide hasn't fixed that. I mean, it can be hard, I guess, because children don't know how to be students anymore. I think when I was in middle school is when we transitioned to standardized testing being super important in order to go into the next grade level. I don't know if that's still a thing. I believe it is, but it's so much easier, I feel like, to pass because it's a multiple choice test. And if you could just guess, you're on to the next grade level. And then if it's online, I don't know if it is, but if it's online, hello, you can cheat. I also think students being behind for any grade is when assignments and tests were given, it's easier to get help with that where the student doesn't actually have to do the work. If a parent was working from home and they were sick of their kid bugging them when they were trying to work, they could just tell them the answers for whatever's on the assignment sheet rather than them having to figure it out in the classroom. And then for older students who have to do multiple tests a week or a test test a week, they can cheat on that because everything is online and it's so much easier to just Google an answer when you're using a computer to take the test. To me, tests and assignments being all online is a feasible way for students to not actually grasp what they're learning for their grade level. So when they enter 7th or 8th grade, they're behind because they never had to actually learn how to do the work because they could just Google the answer right then and there. The thing is, when everything is online, a student who doesn't want to learn can easily just try and find the answers online and just turn that in for a quick A or a quick B or anything like that. Some TikToks I've seen, students can barely concentrate on doing a simple task that requires them to be focused on it for like 5 minutes. They can't concentrate on a 2 to 3 minute video. It honestly has to do with all the apps that are like CoComelon for everyone, even for adults, I won't lie. If you look at super big creators who are meant for children on like YouTube Kids, if they have that on their little iPad, there's so many cuts and effects and jumps and transitions. So it keeps them engaged because so much is happening that when they watch, I don't know, Bill Nye Science video, if they still even show those were not edited how like a Mr. Beast video is edited, which is CoComelon for children. I can attest to attention spans not being the way they were because when YouTube added the function where you can fast forward videos, I watch every single YouTube video at 1.75. No matter what. The person can talk at such a normal rate, but I'm like, they're talking too slow. So I need to make it go faster, which is, granted, I know I talk slow because when I edit my own videos, I talk so damn slow that it gets me so angry that I want to start talking faster. But then I get jumbled around in my thoughts, so I have to slow back down. But every time I watch a YouTube video or a TikTok, because TikTok also added that feature where you can fast forward, especially when there's like a story time, I'm like, I am not watching this 2.5-minute TikTok, and I will fast forward that if I'm interested. And a lot of the times I'm not, so I just swipe away. But with YouTube, I watch literally every single video at 1.75 speed and 2 times speed, and my sister gets so mad. Like, sometimes they talk so fast, but I'm so used to doing that I'm able to watch an 8-minute video in like 5 minutes. But y'all, let's be real. TikTok became so viral. So many users joined TikTok when quarantine happened because everyone was bored AF. And TikTok at that moment, you could only do a minute video or less. So everyone who was just scrolling was getting used to only watching 30-second to a minute videos. Y'all know exactly what that's going to do to your attention span. It's going to make you not want to watch things that are longer than that because you're so accustomed to getting entertained in 30 seconds to a minute. And because TikTok did so incredibly well, there's Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts, so many, like, I don't know if Twitter implemented that, but I think even Spotify added that function where you can basically watch TikToks on Spotify. Why do you need to watch a TikTok on Spotify? Like, oh my God. And Pinterest added it. When I was recently on Pinterest, Pinterest added their own version of it. I'm like, what the hell is this? I don't know. Like, since everyone sees how great TikTok was doing, now every other social media wants to do the same thing. It's just making everyone's attention spans not be the way it was. People cannot even watch an hour and 45-minute movie in the theater because the last time I went to the movie theater, there were so many people on their phone. I was watching Blue Beetle. The dude next to me would not stop looking at his Discord notifications. I'm like, sir, please put the phone down. Please. This was a grown man, by the way. He had the brightness so high checking on his Discord. I'm like, sir, please just watch the movie. And then, because it was Blue Beetle and it was a popular movie people wanted to see, the whole theater was full. And you already know, if you're up on the stadium seating on the very, well, not at the tip top, but kind of up there, you can see where the lower level people are doing. The amount of people on their phone, oh my God. The fact that this movie was not that long, and people were on their phone within the first like 10-15 minutes. I'm like, okay, y'all, grown adults, but okay, we lost movie theater etiquette. Anyway, back to the children. Back to the Gen Z children, my bad. Because attention spans have gotten so much shorter, I do believe that's a reason that they're not able to process the information that they're looking at. Like, for example, if you just go up to, let's say if you have like a kid in your household, if they're on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, please go up and ask them what was the last 3 videos they watched. 9 times out of 10, they will not be able to tell you the last 3 that they watched because they're so quick and fast. You're not actually retaining any of that information. You're just doom scrolling to be entertained. Because I think another issue with that and what happened with quarantine is people are so afraid of being bored. Because a lot of the times when I know I'm getting bored, I do open up TikTok because I know it's a way for me to not be bored. But then I end up being on there for like an hour and a half. So another thing that I really want to add is I think we're now seeing the impact of what autocorrect has done as well with everyone. A lot of children having access to iPads and iPhones. A lot of little kids having access to this. Whatever whatever they're trying to type when they're a young kid, like 5 to 8 years old, they don't have to figure out how to spell it because autocorrect will figure it out for them. And if they know how to read, they're going to be like, oh yeah, that's the word I wanted to use. And they'll just let autocorrect do its thing. Even high schoolers and grown folks, I'm seeing that they cannot spell. They cannot spell because they're so used to autocorrect, and it makes their life so much easier. Y'all, it's okay to misspell a word and then figure out how to spell it later. A TikTok I saw where someone was saying a child can't spell window, probably because if they ever had to use the word window on a text message or looking something up, autocorrect filled it out for them. The autofill on Google search filled it out for them. People don't need to figure out how to do things anymore. I sound like such a boomer. I just realized now that I do sound like a boomer criticizing some of this, but it's because it's important. Like, these children, they're going to be the next lawyers and doctors, if that, because they probably just want to be Mr. Beast. Lastly, I kind of want to touch on the behavioral issues that I've been seeing with children. I saw a video recently where a student literally like hit their teacher. I think with the new type of curriculum that happened, it changed what happens when students misbehave. If anything, they probably just get sent outside the classroom. But really, what is that doing for the child? They can just go on their phone. I feel like it's interesting that children no longer care when they misbehave or they're rude. I wonder if it's because since they grew up online and they were typing rude things to people on the internet, just kind of like being trolls, there's no repercussions for a child doing that, you know, because a lot of people just recognize like it's just a kid being a troll. He's being a hater for whatever reason. Since there's no repercussions online, they probably imagine that there's no repercussions in person, and there isn't, honestly. A lot of the times you see so many students doing horrible things, but what is there to be done to protect the teacher that's getting harmed? If a teacher gets called a mean name, that's going to affect the teacher and how she teaches her students, especially if that child who called her that is still able to be in her classroom every single day. Like, if a student continues to misbehave, it impacts the rest of the kids in that classroom. I feel like students who misbehave continuously don't really get any type of punishment, which I find interesting, especially because I think when I was in school, there was always this looming threat that detention would happen, in-school suspension, or even expulsion if a kid were to continuously misbehave. My bad, but I forgot to mention that behavioral issues don't always just mean physical altercations. It can also mean kids constantly being on their phones despite them not needing to be on them, or interrupting their teacher, also just not listening to instructions being given. All of this is under the umbrella of behavioral issues, which I believe causes problems for students who do want to learn, and also for the teacher who's trying to teach these students when there's a bunch of kids acting out, and whether that be someone's constantly interrupting them, someone's yelling profanities, someone's on their phone. Like, these are all instances of a kid not behaving. I do believe academic performance suffers for students who constantly misbehave, especially if they are disciplined, whether that be they get sent out of the classroom or it takes a whole class period to get them to pay attention. It affects not only them, but it affects everyone else in the classroom. So my bad for not mentioning there's more to behavioral issues than just like physically threatening people. I think the main thing that kids are having to struggle with is that attention span and how remote learning really affected how they retain information. I think it's important to listen to what these educators have to say about how students are changing, because these are the next doctors and lawyers and engineers. And if majority of them are not at the place they need to be when they're in middle school and high school, it's going to be so much harder for them when they go to college to try and get degrees for these specific occupations. What's going to happen to the future of teachers, truly? Because no one wants to be a teacher anymore either, because the pay is trash. Students are constantly yelling and misbehaving at them, these poor teachers. And speaking on there being less teachers, if there's less teachers, there's more subs. And we all know when there's a sub, you don't really learn anything because they just give you busy work to do because your actual teacher is gone and can't teach. Y'all, this is the issue. Damn, this video was just me ranting about all the issues that's going on with the classroom, but no possible solutions, because unfortunately, I don't know what a solution could possibly be to fix the future of children. Like, all of the people who are currently in elementary school and middle school, I don't know what could possibly be done to help them get to where they need to be. Granted, I do wish there could be a study done on the impacts of all of this in comparison to public schools and private schools, because obviously with private schools, these parents who want their children to learn, they're paying them to be able to get that type of education. And with public schools, I think it's just so much harder to teach so many kids who half of them don't want to be there and the other half do. But people who do and are performing at grade level, it's like the teachers need to focus on the majority who are not at grade level, you know? So I think it's just so much harder. Oh my God, this is such a stressful thing. I can't imagine teachers being in this position who are like freaking out over their kids performing at a 4th grade level when they're 13. I'm like getting stressed out now thinking of the future of these students, because not only is it going to affect the younger side of Gen Z, but Gen Alpha as as well if they also can't perform it, because Gen Alpha are the ones who are always on that damn iPad. They're probably going to start off school being so confused that they can't have an iPad with them to play. But who knows? Maybe if Gen Alpha begins to go to school, maybe, I don't know, maybe it might be different because Gen Alpha will be entering school in the normal way where it's in person, and hopefully there's no future worldwide pandemic where we have to go into lockdown again. Another issue I have is when you talk about this, I feel like people think you shouldn't be blaming parents, like it should be on the teacher, like the teacher's job is to teach the kids. Yeah, that's a part of what helps a kid learn. The parent and the guardian is also another factor that helps students learn. Like if no parent is enforcing a child to do their homework or caring that their kid is failing and can't read a sentence, that's also another issue because the kid doesn't realize it's important to know that because they don't care. There's no adult in their life who's telling them it's important for you to learn this topic, this skill. So when they go into the classroom, they're not going to care to learn it. Hopefully the future of schooling becomes better, especially public schooling, because there's so many low income areas of public schools too that I think probably see this issue more. Y'all, we need to do something to fix this. We need to do something to fix this. Kids learning is so important, especially basic skills that they need, like reading and writing and some math. Well, that was my video for today. I just want to say, be nice to teachers, truly. Like, they are doing so much to help these younger kids learn. Like, we really need to pay more respect to them and pay them more, honestly. They do so much. No one would be here today if it wasn't for whatever teacher they had. Because, hello, that teacher taught them how to read and write. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. I hope people begin to take this more seriously. I think it's fun to joke about like how kids are like dumb or whatever, but let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's hope that kids can properly learn and be at their grade level in a few years and kind of make that jump. So that way, I don't know, y'all, education is important. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Please like, subscribe, and comment if you think it's important for this to be a trending topic. Like I personally think it is, and not just on like the educator side of TikTok or social media, like that subreddit where this is going crazy right now. But I'll see you guys next time.